See-
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we do see it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You guys can see my PowerPoint, right?
We
Yeah.
can indeed. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much again for giving me this great opportunity. Um, my my talk today is about meritocracy in China because it's a very hot topic here. Michael Sandel's serial talks about 2 weeks ago. He discussed the meritocracy in the West and its social influence. I would like to talk about meritocracy in China, in its history and its development in contemporary China. My talk will include several parts. Firstly, I will talk about meritocracy in traditional China, which is divided into two sections. One is on ideas from the classic text, and the other is on institutions. Secondly, I will talk about meritocracy in contemporary China. And at last, I want to discuss the different attitudes towards meritocracy in China and their reasons. So let's first look at the ideas of meritocracy in traditional China. There are a lot of um, literature of meritocracy in classics, like in the Book of Rights. It said the emperor should choose the virtuous and the capable, and preach faith and cultivate harmony. And in the Analects, like Confucius said, a good scholar can become an official. He who excels in study can follow an official career. And in the Book of History, it says officials should be judged by talents, and it's very famous from Moism. It has a special chapter for discussing about choosing the virtuous and capable for officials. So it says. mm, a country will be in well order if there are many virtuous people, otherwise it cannot be governed well. Thus, the emperor's first duty is to cultivate and appoint virtuous people, as many as possible. And in other classic books like the historical records, it is said, "Is there anyone born as a king, duke, general, or minister? Or you can change your status from peasant into gentry suddenly if you do well in the imperial civil exam." So it's very common, or it sounds like a common sense in China about meritocracy, but I will explain it's different. But this is some ideas and in the traditional China and in our philosophy. So and it has influenced the political institutions. Like there are also some practice of meritocracy. Unlike Western meritocracy, traditional Chinese society not only explored the philosophy and the legitimacy of meritocratic governance theoretically, but also embedded it in systematic institutions. Through elaborate assessment mechanisms, it ensured that individuals of virtue and capability ascended into national governance roles. Under the influence of the principle of selecting the virtuous and capable, China gradually dismantled the hereditary nobility system. It is, in Chinese, is like 世卿世袭制 that prevailed during the Prinqing period and established the censorship recommendation system. It's also known 察举制. Starting from the Han Dynasty, official appointments were based on recommendations rather than clan lineage. Specifically, regional rulers, ministers, and governors selected official candidates from local officials, Confucian scholars, or even commoners. These recommendations prioritize the filial piety and integrity as moral benchmarks for eligibility in governance. From Emperor Wu of Han Wudi, to the Eastern Han Dynasty, many prominent officials rose through this system. This is not only shaped Han era politics but also institutionalized meritocratic ideas, motivating individuals to cultivate virtue and competence in pursuit of social status. However, the system's reliance on recommendations created opportunities for manipulation, undermining its purpose. So, in response, the Cao Wei regime during the Three Kingdoms period introduced the nine-rank system. It is also known as 九品中正制, where imperial appointed censors evaluated candidates across nine ranks based on family background, moral character, and talent. They assess the officials based on merit, morality, and social status, though it later became biased toward aristocratic families. This assessment was submitted to the court for official appointments with moral and intellectual merit remaining central to the process. By Sui dynasty, however, the system increasingly prioritized the aristocratic lineage over merit, leading to reforms that established the imperial examination system, also known as 科举制. To promote objectivity, this system sought to mitigate the influence of family status by selecting officials based on standardized tests of Confucian classics and administrative knowledge. Though it became rigid and less effective in later centuries, the imperial examination system endured for over 100 and 300 years, becoming the world's longest running and most stable merit-based institution. And here is the timeline of imperial examination system. It lasted a very long time, and still it shaped a Gaokao here in China. It's and the civil service examination. I will elaborate them later. It is evident that the idea of meritocracy has exerted profound influence and continues to play a significant role in Chinese societies, possessing strong appeal. Phrases such as success goes to the diligent and heaven rewards the hardworking have long inspired people across societies to ascend in social status and wealth through personal capability. Here are some characteristics of traditional Chinese meritocracy in the light of the discussions on meritocracy in the West. Firstly, I would like to say first the characteristic of traditional Chinese meritocracy is a narrow sense of meritocracy. Chinese virtue-based meritocracy or 贤能政治 is a narrow concept, focusing on political power distribution through moral and capable governance. Historically, this was exemplified by systems like 察举制 from Han Dynasty I just list, which prioritized the filial piety and loyalty over technical skills. While Western meritocracy has evolved to influence fields like education, economics, and markets, China's traditional system remained confined to political appointments, emphasizing moral integrity above all else. In contrast, in the West context, meritocracy is primarily associated with specific stances in political governance or economic distribution rather than an entire political system. It leans more towards public service and wealth allocation with limited direct political implications. In contemporary Western political philosophy, meritocracy is often framed as a partial theory of distributive justice, as it does not address issues like freedom, equality, or other complexities. Like Professor Michael Sandel characterized meritocracy into two dimensions. One is political meritocracy. Like power is allocated based on expertise promoting economic growth and virtue aligned with the common good. And second is economic meritocracy. Resources are distributed according to market value or contributions to the common good. The second characteristic of traditional Chinese meritocracy is it is a top-down imperial design. In traditional China, meritocracy was to select loyal officials to maintain social stability, not to enable upward mobility. So the system prioritized the absolute obedience to the emperor over individual freedoms or economic innovation. Unlike its Western counterpart, it lacked systematic theory or institutionalization, remained fragmented until modern time. And it's in China, the traditional China, meritocracy was a top-down institution designed to legitimize imperial rule. So the system prioritized the absolute obedience to the emperor. And in the West, the Western meritocracy emerged organically from economic development. The rise of the bourgeoisie and demands for social mobility. It was driven by a bottom-up movement seeking to dismantle feudal hierarchies and establish opportunities based on talent and efforts. This ideology integrated the pursuit of equal opportunity, individualism, and capitalism, fostering democratic reforms and market economics. And the third characteristic of traditional Chinese meritocracy is it is virtue-based. In China, virtue or xian has always been paramount. The Chaji system prioritized the filial piety as the primary criterion for official selection, reflecting Confucian ideas of family-state congruence. Virtue-based meritocracy put no emphasis on equality. It enforced hierarchy, loyalty, and suppressed dissent. Even after the Chaji system's decline, filial, filial piety remained central to social and political discourse because it's like xiao or filial piety is so special because in traditional China, especially in the family state congruence, loyalty or respectful to your parents means or equals you will be loyalty to the government, to the emperor. So filial piety goes first. Went first. It was the first and the most important criterion of when when in the system in the 察举制. While in the ancient Greece, virtue was like in Plato and Aristotle, virtue was moral and tied to governance ethics. But by the Renaissance, like in Machiavelli, virtue shifted toward pragmatic effectiveness, detached from morality. And in the 20th century, then when with the standardized testing emerges, it like IQ test, it further demoralized the merit, equaling ability with intelligence. Oh, sorry. And modern meritocracy focus on achievement and competition, not moral character. So now let's turn to meritocracy in contemporary China. This will divide into two aspects. One is a social phenomenon, and the other is about institutions. There is a widespread feeling among ordinary people like that our daily lives can be accurately described by the same academic term, involution. People in different fields have to work extremely hard to accomplish more or to get more merit in order to get more wealth and a higher social status. The grueling pace and demands of trying to compete have led to a surprising counter-reaction by many young people. Young Chinese adults referred to lying flat. They prefer not to study and work hard, not to be ambitious. Instead, they think it is useless and meaningless for them to join the fierce and endless competition, especially when the whole society is fixed already by the idea of meritocracy. Either involution or lying flat is as much as a symptom of meritocratic societies. Involution describes the phenomenon of people's fighting pushed by the idea of meritocracy, while lying flat describes people's silent resistance of meritocracy. Let's turn to some institutions. Like you can see from the photos, the photo on the left is imperial civil exam, the scenery of the examination. And now every year, it happens every year by the end of every year, sounds of even millions of students of young people will attend the civil service exam, and they want to get opportunity to to into the governance. So it's almost the same. So today's Chinese civil service examination system retains the essence of the legacy of imperial examination system, employing objective criteria to recruit officials while minimize the impact of family wealth, connections, or nepotism. And, and there is another institution. It is called Gaokao. It is very famous. Like its predecessors of the imperial examination system, Gaokao has the appearance of rewarding merit and gives the best students the opportunities to get higher education, who will also get more opportunities in the job market and higher position in the society in their later life. Gokul inherits the meritocratic ethic of the imperial examination system and becomes a new sorting machine, which replies to people's desire of social mobility and influence the Chinese society deeply. People assume that this meritocratic selection would suggest a weak association between students' social origin and their academic performance, and that the academic performance will lead to corresponding destination in higher education regardless of social origin. And like this, there's some photos I got from online, and before the Goggle takes in June, and it happens, or during it happens, the parents will they will do everything to pray for their kids. Like they will go to church and they will go to some temples, ask for good luck and ask for the gods to help their kids to get better scores. And they will also use some techniques to make sure the it happens smoothly and peacefully. It's a huge event in China every year. And even during the mm, ordinary time, like the competition does not just happen on the golf course on the days of the golf course. It happens since very early of the kids stage. Like the whole family will try their best to get a better location, get a better apartment for a good school to so that they can send their kids to a better better school like elementary school or middle school to get a better education to prepare for Gaokao and so that and that's this photo from the right on the right is whenever I look into this photo, I was my memories will come back. It was like me, and we have to study very hard and get past the Gaokao to get into the universities, and it seems the only way for us. So parents feel intense pressure to provide their children with the very best. And children must keep up in the educational competition. Like helicopter parents, tiger moms become more and more common. Those who don't want to push their children harshly will finally add into this competition because they will be under great pressure of letting their children lose at the very beginning. They will feel guilty and anxiety. All members in the family, from grandparents to parents and children, spare no efforts to success in Gaokao. It becomes once for all examination and the only way for children. One of my cousins just took Gaokao last year, and the whole family feel liberated afterwards since they had devoted to this Gaokao for at least 15 years. His parents and parents described themselves as prisoners or slaves because they had to devote themselves to help the kid to pass Gaokao. And finally, I want to compare some differences, and it's not from the West and the China, but from contemporary China and the traditional China. There are some change, like the content of virtue. The first is about the content of virtue. As I said before, it was the filial piety was the paramount, and it was the most important virtue in the traditional meritocracy. But now it's different. You know, in the when the government select officials from young people, they will of course, the young people will take the examination of civil service examination, which 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 will test their knowledge of governance and their abilities, like writing or something. But they have to be there is another bar of examination uh, is a kind of investigation. When you pass the examination and they want to get you into the interview, they do some investigation, or they will call your the students tutor or their school to ask for the political loyalty. So it's from the public level, political loyalty is is paramount now. It's not about filial piety. So people, if like young people, have to be political loyalty to get selected, and from the family level, Filial piety is not an paramount virtue either, because the whole family pay the whole family pays so much attention, so much emphasis on Gaokao, and their only hope for the kids is to study good and study hard and get a good score in Gaokao. So starting hard is I cannot say it's the only one virtue, but it is one of the most important virtues. Uh, it's we can say it's paramount. It's filial piety is not in that important anymore. And then for in some extreme examples, like we can see in some videos, even the children or the kid hate their parents. It doesn't matter on only the children when if the children is diligent study when if he studies hard, if he or she study hard, his or her attitude towards their parents doesn't matter at all. So it has greatly changed the content of virtue has greatly changed, has been greatly changed during the years, because because of the I guess I think it's because of the test, the Gaokao and the civil service examination, or the whole selection system of the society, because filial piety is not that important anymore. And the second the second difference is the groups involved different. Like in the traditional China, even in the through the all of the meritocratic institutions, the people involved are all, most of them are people from with family backgrounds. So either they are from federal aristocracies, or they're rich families. But now the everybody can attend Gaokao. In the so everybody can have the has the opportunities to attend the civil service exam. So the meritocracy this is the meritocratic systems now in contemporary China refers or involves everybody. So not just some specific people from the high rankings. And now people is I said in traditional China meritocracy is i- is a upward is a bottom is a top from let me see, is a top-down imperial design. So it's it was driven by the government, by the emperor, by the so the it's not it's not driven by the people from the bottom of the society. But now people with the development of with the economic development, people want to have more opportunities. People from the bottom of the society want to have more chances to get upward. So it is a dream. Of course, the government still needs to select people from select capable virtues and capable people from the society. But at the same time, there is also a, a requirement from the bottom of the society. So it is also a upward mobility. So it's different from the traditional meritocracy. And so in this way, the social influence is different. the traditional meritocracy had less influence compared to the meritocratic institutions in contemporary China. So based on different social backgrounds uh, from the traditional China and the Western society, I want to have some reflections because as I listed before, either in traditional China or contemporary China, there are so many different social backgrounds from the Western society. So in the Western society is a more developed society with more freedom, individuality, and more equal opportunities. So China is different. We're still developing, and we still need more space for equal for upward social mobility. So I think we cannot transplant the criticism from the Western society. So there is different attitudes towards meritocracy now in the public dialogue in China. People who the advocates and the opponents, the people who realize the combination of money and education, opponents they fight against the meritocracy like the public philosophers do in the Western society. They realize that now the education is the rich people or people from the top can buy some privileges of education for their kids so that they will get better performance in Gaokao or in civil service exam. So they say it's a kind of new class stagnation rather than social mobility. People like they they get they get to the higher ranks of the society, they know how important the education is. So they will pay a lot of money into their kids' education, and they'll help them to get equip them with more capabilities, more talents, so that they can get selected in the future in selective institutions. But people in on the other hand, like people who has the only option thinks that like Gaokao is the only way for people from the bottom of the society. Like I said, it opens to everybody. Though there are many invisible inequalities, but in the it has the formal the equality of opportunity. Like everybody can attend Gaokao, everybody can attend the civil service exam. So it is the only way, and it is people say takes it as the only equal opportunity for the people, or no matter whether they are rich or poor. Like you cannot buy an admission for good buy a ticket for their kids. Their kids have to pass Gaokao, and the poor people can all the kids from the poor families can also attend the Gaokao and get admitted by universities. So even though it's still the only equal opportunity for all Chinese. So if so we were discussing about this meritocratic selection system. It is unfair in some way, but it is still it's the only way. So and sometimes I myself is torn. Like as a beneficiary, I I got I got my I got a job now in the capital normal university as a professor, and from the bottom of society. My parents are, were just the peasants. So my brother and I studied hard and passed the Gaokao and get a better a better job now than my parents. And so I know it's this selective meritocratic selective system is cruel, very cruel, and it's we had to study very hard, and it's very difficult. It was very difficult. But if there is no Gaokao or no if this kind of institution was canceled, there is no opportunity for poor kids. So I I know it's important to the poor people, but at the same time, I myself kind of becoming a new class because I know the importance of education, and I think I'll be one of the tiger moms to raise my kids to put much emphasis on her education. So I'm kind of torn. So I was thinking meritocracy in China is we cannot just I said before we cannot just transplant the criticism from the Western society. It's so different. The social background is so different. The uh, with the public philosophy is different, and the political surroundings environment is different. So I think there should be no abstract criticism of meritocracy here in China, because mm, encouraging people to pursue their talent and to pursue their to get a better position, to exercise their talents is a good way, is a good thing, is rather than encouraging people just lying flat. So sometimes I think I think this idea of meritocracy is valuable in some way, but it also can lead to some bad defects that cause some bad effects or influence to the society. So there I think we should establish the institutions to help to combine the idea of meritocracy, the encouraging ideal, encouraging essence, and to eliminate its bad influence. So, but I don't know uh, how to establish a formal in way, but I think is we should discuss meritocracy in specific. Do you think there is some something bad to the society, some bad influence? Maybe we can add some other things to help it to make it better. So that's my some reflections on the meritocracy. And thank you all. Hello?
Thank you so much. That was absolutely
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I
Please
can.
give me some feedbacks to
Yeah,
help
we
me.
we talked already, right, Huiling a lot. So, I don't want to take up time. I want to give opportunities for other people. But I think one of the things too is that I think it's not just Gaokao. I mean, it's not just these institutions themselves, right? Of course, it's very much the attitude that's, and I think that's what you were talking about as well, but it's very much the attitude that surrounds them, right? Because you can imagine, of course, you could go to the US and have the same attitude towards, which some people do, right? Towards SATs, towards extracurricular. I mean, in China, the thing maybe that's a little bit unique, especially if you compare it just simply to the US, is that in the US, right, at Harvard or so, you don't just look at SAT scores, right? You look at a broad range of things. But you can take the same attitude, right? It's just that actually, I don't know, Michael, what your take on this is, but my guess is that it's much less, right? Even though there are people, right, who sort of totally go crazy and blah blah blah, that it's much less. But you can go crazy just as much in any uh any system like this, right? Any institution. You can really go too far, right? But yeah, so I think what you're really getting at least as far as I see it, is trying to have discussions about how to change sort of the culture around this, right? Which is very difficult as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah,
Mm.
Angela has her hand up.
Hi, teacher. Thanks for your inspiring lecture. And here I have two questions. First is about meritocracy. You mentioned that it is a virtue-based and it is up-down. So I wonder, if that means when we have meritocracy, Asian Chinese people have some basic rights. Because meritocracy, I mean, this culture athletes that not only work for their own benefits, they work for the benefit for the common good. So maybe the normal people they will have some rights, even though the rights is not as much as contemporary Chinese people. This is my first question. My second question is about Gaokao and the civil service examination. I guess in China, the civil service examination is both an educational institution and a political institution. But
Mm.
in contemporary China, I guess Gaokao is only for uh, how to say education. Yeah, because
Mm.
when students graduate, they need to participate in other examinations to enter into the government. So I wonder whether there are some differences because they have different functions. So maybe there are some differences of their meanings. These are my two questions.
Thank you. I think, yeah, in the traditional China, people's rights was so limited, and the main purpose for meritocracy was not designed to protect people's rights or equality. They just want to select capable people to help their governance, to maintain their governance. So I think it's very different now. And in contemporary China, people we cannot say that they have the same rights as the people in the Western societies, but they already have the consciousness to because I have this rights to some political rights. I have the rights to participate in the public service, something like that. But um, they have the different consciousness. And speaking about the second question about Gaokao, yes, you're right. It's different. It's the we can take it as the first step of examination. So it's for for kids like around 18 years old to 20 years old. Is a first step examination selecting students with better academic abilities or talents, and then after graduation they have to take the second step is the examination, which if they want to, it is a civil service examination. So it is different, but it's a kind of serial examination. You have to. When I said the civil service examination is open to all, I actually is not accurate because only people with at least the bachelor's degree can attend. So it's not open to all in this way, but it is, you have to get a certain degree, like a bachelor's degree or master's degree or doctor PhD. You can attend the examination and get into the government. So it is different, but in different aspects. Thank you.
Can I say something? Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I don't.
please.
Hello.
Hi.
Huiling, hi. I've never. We haven't met like in person. Really nice to meet
No,
you.
you guys met last year in March
We did.
in Shanghai.
We did at the graduate student conference.
No, at the
No.
conference with Michael.
The Civilization Conference.
Oh yes, of
Yeah.
course.
She brought her
Sorry,
daughter.
sorry.
And we are friends on WeChat.
Exactly. Yes, I'm sorry, Huiling. It's been a long day. I will try to structure my point and my question. I mean, what jumped out at me, like from what you said, was the fact that Xiao is not so important anymore, and that the emphasis, right, in the family, let's say, ethic is more on how diligent you are, how hard you work, right, to achieve it. So we could like stretching it a little bit, say that this is the ultimate expression of Xiao, is how much you somehow stand out, right, as a student. So this would be, let's say, some kind of I don't know, some kind of just like parents have like put in for your studies, right? So that would be some kind of like paying off for that. I don't know. I'm just asking you if this would be like some kind of stretch of the expression of Xiao. And the other thing is that I mean, also from my experience here, actually today I had a kind of like, yeah, quite painful experience with a student who was just really upset. I mean, I couldn't like comfort her. She was crying endlessly because of a bad grade, and because she demands straight A's from herself, and also because her parents demand straight A's. So if she doesn't get the straight A, she will like withdraw the course. She's willing to take it again. So this, and of course, the whole experience with my students here is just, it gives me a sense of such disturbing self-isolation. So this whole effort, this, I don't know, substitution of the, like adhering to the needs for Xiao with adhering to the needs for what? For Haoxue, I don't know, a kind of very individualistic Haoxue, right? A strong individualistic like attitude when it comes to this part of their lives, which is of course a dominant part of their lives. So yeah, I've just some thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say about it mostly.
Thank you. Actually, I think, yeah, Xiao is not the most important virtues among young people now. partly because of the select the competence, the competition, the fierce competitions they have to take, and like you raised the example, the students have to get a straight A. Your student have to get a straight A, and if she gets, her parents will be very happy with her, and but I think it's not a kind of stretch of extension of shell. It's different because there are some extreme examples like the students were very bad to their parents. Their attitudes were very bad. But as long as they get straight A, the parents will be happy with them. And so I think it's not a good aspect of, to be honest, because oh, I think it something wrong. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now,
we-
yeah,
Oh,
for me, yes, now you're back. Yeah.
oh, sorry. So I think it's a shame. We, of course, I don't appreciate. I don't admire the traditional filial piety. It's so extreme, and but it was very extreme. But now people are going to another direction. It sounds like scores or straight A's the most important thing in their life, and the parents are not paying attention to the virtues of their children, the moral characters of their children. As long as their children get straight A's, get high scores in pass any examinations, they have a one angel kids. So I think it's it's not it's not a good attitude of raising kids. Yeah, yes, getting high scores is a good aspect, but it's only one aspect. Moral characters should be very important too, like 礼貌 or respectful to other people. Like, so I think this this is also important. Like I think I thought of one of the example, like when Professor Michael Sandel was here like two weeks ago, and there were two examples actually for his first lecture. 1,400 students sign online, and they want to get a seat for the talks. But when I was there, only 400 showed up, and 1,000 didn't come here. So the whole hall, because there were so many people sign online, so the university had to change into a huge hall. They did a lot of orientation job to transform from one place, original place, to another place, and but at last only the 1,000 students didn't show up. And I think, oh my gosh. And the second example was for his last lecture. There was discussant, and when the professor was talking, and the students were not satisfied because probably they want to hear more from Professor Michael Sandel, but the other discussant they didn't like so much. And then just one student said, "Shut up." Yeah, I thought I was like, oh my gosh. So they're from Peking University, and they're students from the top university. And so I don't think that is stretch extension of xiao because it's is connected to respect to others, not only to your parents, like to elder people, to like professors, to so I was shocked, and I think it's not good. Yes, they did very well to get high scores to pass Gaokao to get to the top university in the world. We can say that Peking University is one of the best universities in the world. But I think I was shameful for them because it's not respectful, and it's you have high school or straight A's are not on the only things. But now, because of the competitions, because of the examinations, fierce competitions, parents pays little attention to their kids' behaviors. So so I don't think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Carlo, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for this interesting lecture. I appreciate especially that you pointed to differences between the Chinese and the Western situation. I think that is good because otherwise it's perhaps too easy to transfer some critical remarks from the West also to China. So that's interesting. And I also appreciate a lot that you give an insight in your personal tornus. I don't see a lot of people doing that. Sometimes you see people who rise to the top, forgetting where they came from and looking down on the social stratum that they came from. So I appreciate that you have a feel for that and that you perhaps also wrestle with that. I think that's a very strong point.
Thank you.
And it is also morally an excellent quality of you. And you just were also talking about morals, and I think especially for university teachers, it would be good if they showed more of their personal moral convictions and also their moral reasoning. You mentioned a few times, or Dimitra mentioned the student that went for these straight A's. A few years ago, I was on an accreditation commission for an academic program where a lot of Chinese students were participating. And we heard rumors that weren't confirmed about suicide by Chinese students because they didn't dare to go home to face their family that had paid an extremely lot of money to get them an education in the Netherlands. So that shows how serious the problem can get. There's one thing that perhaps is interesting if we are looking into the dynamics of how meritocracy evolves. The story that you paint in China is, and you also see that in Japan and perhaps East Asia in general, but I'm not that knowledgeable about that, is extremely hardworking. When I'm looking at West, I see that to compensate for perhaps deficits in academic performance, we capitalize a lot more on what Pierre Bourdieu called cultural capital. If I look at how meritocracy operates in the West, my idea is that it's not just academic performance, but also cultural capital. And that could be, it would be interesting to see whether there would be possibilities in China. And then I refer back to your personal tornus. You are now of the higher class. Is it possible, and you were talking also about when you would have children, would you be a tiger mom? Or would you see possibilities to use cultural capital as a means to promote your children to higher levels? Okay, that were just my remarks. But thanks again for an excellent and inspiring lecture. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree to like one opponent saying that we should like Professor Michael Sandel says that we should re how to put it, to recall the rename the dignity of work, different works. Like in China, maybe it all happens. As far as I know, because I lived in the United States for some time, like together like almost 3 years. So I feel like people in the United States will get more dignity from their works, even like as a waitress or Barbara or something other works. But in China, they have less in their knowledge, like working as CEO or professors, or they're only recognized very little or I'm sorry.
You know.
She wants to join.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very limited aspect ranks of jobs. So I think this is a very good aspects of fighting against the dark side of meritocracy, but it's not easy. So in China, when Professor Michael Sandel was here and he was criticizing meritocracy, and my colleagues saying that it's impossible here, and we shouldn't criticize here. We need more meritocracy rather than less, because we need more social mobility, and we're different. There are most of the people need to get upward rather than so it's different. Most of the people are still in the bottom. They need more opportunities, and so they criticizing meritocracy in China is not the right time, they think. So they but I think just I said recognize re-recognize the dignity of different jobs is a very good aspect. So if I'm thinking about like when my kids grew up, I think I'm not sure now, but I might accept she works as a cooker or waitress as long as she is healthy and happy. So I think it's not just a kind of a slogan. We need the whole society, and especially the schools or the parents have to raise their kids from very little. Like as long as you're happy and you're uh, every kind of job is respectful, and it needs too much. It's too much from the parents and the society and the support from the whole society, the system. So, but now it's very difficult in China.
Great, thank you. And Jonah, please.
Yeah, thanks for the talk, Professor. Very interesting
Thanks.
discussion. I have another question about xiao, filial piety. So you mentioned in the talk that in the kind of classical imperial ideal of meritocracy in China, virtue, particularly xiao, is what's valued and promoted. I'm wondering whether that was just an ideal or whether it was practiced in reality. Since I'm thinking that how does memorizing the classics and writing your baguan helped like test for xiao. So I'm curious if, was it something that was it just talk or was it really practiced? And if it was practiced, how did they test for xiao, if you will? And maybe what does that say about how we could actually build a system where meritocracy, tests for people's virtue today?
You mean in ancient times, were the Asian people were really that kind of xiao?
Yeah. Well, did they really have a system where they promoted people who were xiao? Did they have a way to find those people?
Yeah, to be honest, there was some exaggeration of the in the literature because and there were some extreme stories. They're just being fabricated to educate people, to lead people to xiao. But and there are some people like in Chaju system, people could be recommended as officials because only because they are very shy to their parents, but it was replaced because there was a lot of people faked. They pretend to be xiao to get a good reputation so that they can get recommended. There are historical examples like they're just the fake stories and they pretend it, and they will even get published when they were found. So it's not the extreme stories are not well. I cannot say all of them, but many of them were fake. But I cannot say I would say the the culture of xiao is true was true or is still influential, and I think like even when for my generation, I don't know the younger generation. I think they are different now. But even for my generation, my parents or my teen my um, um like like my friends or even not my colleagues, I think my generation got the same education from their parents that we should respectful to parents or grandparents and to teachers. They're kind of collected. So I was not allowed to like quarrel with my parents. It was not respectful, and my parents were not extreme, but it's not. We have to how to like kind of say hi to every time to when we meet see our parents or grandparents. We can never call their names. So it's the culture is influential, and that we have more consciousness of xiao in our daily life. So it's and I think even there are some because of the institutions of the selective institutions, there were some extreme or fake phenomena of xiao, but the emphasis of xiao has influenced and shaped the society and the public culture. I think that's true.
I see.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you so much. And please, yes, Paul, please.
Oh no, Michael, I thought you have to go.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna thank Huiling. So Huiling, thank you so much. The talk was absolutely wonderful. The discussion has been incredibly helpful. Thank you